Welcome back, everybody, to another week, our week two of a podcast with Real Talk with Kevin Brock at 7 o'clock. We're a little late today,
At
but
7 o'clock.
yes, yes. So
Well,
thank you guys.
they say seven is a lucky number, so I figured I'd go 707 instead of 777 because there's not really a 77. So I did the best I could do there.
Hey, you did great. You got it. You got in.
No, I didn't. My wife Roxanne did. Otherwise, I would have thrown the computer through the wall.
Hey,
So,
behind every great man, there's a great woman. I know mine has saved me a lot of time. So um,
woo!
anyway,
Thank you, Roxanne.
here we are. Here we are. Thank you guys that dialed in. Man, I'm just gonna start with what an epic day today. We were out today on the river at Calusa and doing some striper fishing, and we got a lot of footage and a lot of content today that we'll be doctoring up here and getting out there to everybody to see, kind of how we did. But with that, Kevin, tell us about today and what's on your mind.
Well, I'll tell you what, we got to go fishing. So thank you for coming out. And we had some clients on board, and then we got, well, you're a client too, because you're out there filming and everything else like that. I can't wait to get the bill in about 5 years from you. You'll be like, yeah, I remember those all those days. Here's about $500,000 worth of filming. Here you go. Wait, wait till we win the lottery on that one.
Oh yeah.
But we got to go fishing. And so, we got to go upriver and then the water conditions were good. It was a little cold this morning. Fish were a little finicky, but we finished super strong. And so it was all good.
Good stuff, man. You want to
Yeah.
tell anybody where we were or what we were doing? We
Oh yeah, you bet. So yeah, let's just go jump straight into it then. Why not? Um, we were right out of Calusa Landing, launched right there, went up by the state park. There was 7 or 8 other guides putting in there, other boats putting in there, and people fishing from the state park, all the way up, past 7 Mile up there, which is, a little ways up there. And people were catching fish. Everybody caught fish. Some of the guys that went up came by us real quick early, all limited out, and really good. The water conditions were spectacular. And everyone's like, oh, is the water, is the water too muddy? Is it, too murky? Is it blown out? No, 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 and no, not at all. I mean, we caught fish. All our fish came on minnows, had a couple bites on sardines, had a couple grabs on, swim baits. But other than that, if we didn't have minnows, we wouldn't have caught fish. I mean, we whacked them.
Yeah, that's one thing that I've learned, when we go out to no matter what kind of fishing we're doing, but we usually have three or four, different types of baits, whether it's a lure, a swim bait, plastic, a live bait, cut bait, right? Or have something in our arsenal just for what you said is we just went out with lures today, we probably wouldn't have caught because we wouldn't have had anything else.
Yeah, and I think the way the water is, I think some of the guys trolling lures did catch some fish. But where we were at, it wasn't a lure bite. It was definitely a minnow bite, and will continue to be that.
Watch some more
Um,
minutes.
it was,
I think you put chains on it.
yeah, it was fantastic. It was fantastic. It was just good to be out on the water. We'll be on the water for the next, 40 days. Ask me in 45 days. I'll be like, but I'm still in the same clothes. I literally went and set up the trailer, drove home. Roxanne just fixed dinner. Literally, I was eating dinner as we were trying to figure this out. And boom, here we are. So we want to make sure we go over a few things on what we were doing and line and maybe fine tune it even a little bit more for everybody who wants information. Yeah, we'll jump into the fishing report and then we'll see how many people, want to where they want to go with I would say advanced techniques. The exact type hook, the size, the line, the weight, the depth we were fishing, things like that, the areas we were fishing. But let's start off with the fishing report. So what did it hit 70 out there this afternoon?
Always
Those are just
beautiful.
it was a beautiful, beautiful day. So starting from top to bottom, this whole week, this weekend, I often wonder if I didn't talk for like 2 or 3 days, would my voice finally come back? Because by the end of the day, my voice is shot. But I don't think I've ever gone my life without talking for 2 or 3 minutes, without talking for 2 or 3 days. So I remember some ISC shows by the last day, after you'd shook hands with, 5,000 people and did seminars, you couldn't even talk anymore. Up in the foothills, and the foothills, everybody I'm talking to, Collins Lake has been absolutely on fire. Collins Lake's been on fire. Paradise Lake up above has been on fire. And the guys at Paradise Lake wanted me to tell you that it's closed on Wednesdays. So double check with the Paradise Parks and Rec, because we don't want you guys driving out there on Wednesday and having it shut down. But Paradise Lake and Collins Lake are kind of the same. They're both a put and take. So they put fish in, so you can take them out. That's what our fishing license does. And so they're planted rainbows.
Wet feet.
Collins put some lightning trout. But, power bait, cast masters, and the old mini night crawler with marshmallow, I mean, hands down is some of the best. You control with Rapalas and little spoons, but on Paradise Lake, it's mostly off the bank because it's electric motor only. And then Collins, you pay and you can run any power boat you want on it. Collins Lake is a cool place. So both those places are kicking out a lot of trout. If you're interested in trout. Now, here, the 21st coming up. How about, let me check my dates. Right. Well, then we don't want to talk about the High Sierras yet, because we don't want you showing up on the 19th if it's open on the 26th. They're like, man, there ain't nobody around. The fishing's great. So, we'll hold off on that one, for next week. So the lakes for trout, the upper lakes, fantastic. It's fantastic fishing. Even Buller's Bar is fishing pretty good for rainbow trout. But Shasta has been probably top by far, for the bigger browns and trolling spoons, Rapalas, different things like that. And so Shasta has been really good. Anywhere between 10 and 15 feet, trolling. And then let your line out, quite a ways back behind the boat. Use side planers, things like that. There's several videos on Shasta. Jeff Goodwin goes over there, and he's got that baby dialed in over there. In fact, I get information from reading his reports. So, if you really want to fine tune Shasta, get a hold of him. But the bass fishing on Shasta is lights out. You can catch 60 to 100 bass a day right now. This weekend, this week, this whole next week will be fantastic. All you got to do is go to the points, use Ned rigs, and the guys who fish them a lot know what those are. Morning Dawn colors, green craw, and salt and pepper. Those 3 colors there, all you need. I like the 32nd ounce Ned head. Now, if it's windy and you're fighting the chop in your boat, go to an 1/8 ounce. They'll still eat it, but that 32nd head, they'll bite that a lot more. So that'll help you out there on Shasta. If you really want to catch a bunch on Shasta, hands down, kids, anybody who hasn't fished before, go over there to Phil's Propeller, buy 3 or 4 dozen minnows, and you'll use every minnow. A number 6 hook, like a mosquito hook, a split shot, drop it down to the bottom, get in about 20 foot of water, and just kind of troll around real slow. You'll run out of minnows. You'll catch that many fish. Shasta's that good right now. Hey, Anthony, how you doing, buddy? Thanks for tuning in. How's it going? I see you there. How are you? Do you got him muted?
Yeah, I got him muted again.
Okay, that's good. He talks way too much. today on the boat, I figured I was going to tell him, hey, if you say anything else, we're going to have to pull over and let you out on the bank.
Yeah.
No, Anthony's a great fisherman. He was like our ace in the hole, man. He kept yanking out the fish, but he just doesn't talk a lot, which is good.
I've been working on that.
It compensates. It compensates for me and you. We talk too much, and he doesn't talk enough. So we're like a good team together.
I've got Anthony to talk a lot more on videos. When we first started shooting video, he would not say, or he would clam up and he would be the silent guy. He wouldn't even acknowledge he had a fish on. I'd look over and he's reeling. What are you doing? I have a fish. I'm like, well, let me know so I can film it. Now, he's fish on or what's
Oh
something.
no,
No.
he'd stick him and be like fish on, and we got him on mute, so he can't even defend himself right now. That's even better.
He can unmute himself. He just has to click it.
Oh, all right. Thanks, Anthony, for being a good sport. No, he hooked some good fish today. So that's Shasta. Dropping down to Lake Orville, the salmon still same, 45 to 60 feet. Troll a green and silver flasher with a white hoochie, running about 18 inches behind. But the key to Orville, catching the salmon out there, is chunking up little pieces of anchovy and hooking them on. And then you hook that on with your hoochie, with your white hoochie. That's the key. You'll get more bites. You'll get more fish that way. A lot more fish that way. And your setback doesn't have to be far. If you're down 50 feet on your downrigger, your setback doesn't have to be anything more than 20 feet. So you don't have to be far on your setback. The salmon aren't ball shy, or in fact, the closer you get all your gear together, the better it works. It really works good over there. And as the fish on Shasta and the spotted bass on Shasta are just an average a little bigger than Orville, but the same thing's on Orville now too. You can catch 60 to 100 bass a day. A day right now. It's 6-pound test, ultralight rod. Go out. You can drop shot any type of what we call finesse worms. They're like 4-inch worms. They're just real as well. So ox blood and blue, morning dawn, and just straight salt and pepper. I mean, those 3 colors, you'll burn through a bag of 100 of them in a day. Drop shot it. Number 6 hook, boom, drop shot down 2 feet, eighth ounce drop shot weight, all day long. Neds work really good over there. Same thing. I really like the salt and pepper color in a Ned, or the green craw. Green craw, it looks like the kind of the old ugly tube. It just looks like the, green crawdads or something there. Just drag it on the bottom. Those 2 things are, again, 100 fish days. I talked to a lot of guys who are getting 60 fish. Yeah. So that's Orville. Now, what happened in Orville, they planted some for the first time in over 20-some years, 30 years. Now they planted some Eagle Lake rainbows. Okay, late in March. They planted 24,000 of them. So a night crawler behind a flasher, run your night crawler 24 inches behind any Dodger, any flasher, get it down 30 to 60 feet, you catch some of those. And they're catchable size right now. They're 10, 12 inches. And, next year, if any holdover, we'll have some in the 18-inch range. So that'll be kind of cool. It's, nope, I'm not going there. I'm not going to go political on that one. I grew up on Orville, and I'm not going there. I am not going there. Hold me back. I'm too tired. Hey, there's a good-looking dog.
We're going to use him for bait. We call him bait.
That's bait.
That's bait. No.
How did he take to smelling May? We had May, my dog, on the boat today.
Oh, my
So
dog.
when you got home,
Yeah, Odie, this one don't care, but Odie definitely knew I was out cheating today with another dog, so
Odie was not about you cheating, huh? Huh?
No, he sat on the
Maybe we can
steps all
bring
day.
maybe we can bring oh maybe we can bring Odie along one day.
Yeah, he's a chill
Is
dog.
he a boat dog?
Oh, he loves the boat. He don't jump off. He finds a little corner to lay in, and when the fish get on the boat, he basically goes the other way. He doesn't want anything to do with those
You know
fish.
what I was surprised this morning that May didn't jump off the back of the boat at the otter. She stopped on the back for some reason. I don't know why. Normally she'll just go right in. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So, what other lakes do you have reports for? I see. Did we do
Yeah,
Black
I'm
Butte?
getting a drink of
Or-
water.
Okay.
We got Black Butte, which is on fire for crappie over by the dam. 20 feet down, small minnows, light line, 4 pound, 6 pound test, bingo, bango. Another size 8 hook, little tiny hook on there, let them run around. The crappie will just suck them in. Yeah, so the crappie and the bass, the deep diving crankbaits is really starting to go off. And then all your double tail, what we call mop tails, twin tails, um, all those salt and pepper color, and the June bug. Those two colors are the best. I held three fingers, but I meant to say two colors. Hey, there you go. I like that. The blue and is that every time oh, raise my hand, I get balloons.
You get balloons. Yeah, this,
Man, you must be pretty tired too.
yeah. It's. I came home and took a little power nap. Wife was my
Oh,
alarm
good,
clock,
good,
and
good, good.
so it's time to get up. You have more work to do.
Power naps are good. Power naps are good. So let's cut over to the good old Bullard's Bar, huh?
Oh yeah, I can't wait for
Bullard's
that.
Bar. Yeah, Bullard's Bar has been on fire. My buddy Warren's been fishing over there. Guys have been fishing over there. Everyone I'm talking to is catching limits, 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 limits. You know, all kinds of kokanee. And this year they're a little bigger, and there's a lot of them. So kokanee fishing, I don't know how long it's going to go, but I know this week anyway, you'll catch limits over there. You know, orange, pink, little micro hoochies. Use the small ones and then use a smaller Dodger. Now, Warren's got a couple of them. What does he call that one? Something giraffe or something. I don't know. Anyway, you go to Warren's and you'll see his videos on Bullard's Bar, and he catches a bunch of fish on that. They got limits and everything, but I use one that's called a Kokanee Crush, and it's a 4 inch one. It's a little flasher. Some of the ones we used when we went out, and I like that one. And in the orange or pink,
Who makes that
and
one?
same thing. Yeah, same thing. One 1.2, 1.4 miles an hour. It's perfect.
And that's that one you're talking about is definitely your flasher. I'm assuming. It's like Kevin Brock.
That one is my flasher that we were using.
Yes.
The ones Warren uses, yeah, yeah, but that was one of ours. Yeah, the Cocoa Crush. Yeah,
Cocoa
that's
Crush
ours.
and your
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
we've
that's ours.
we've used your cocoa spinners out there that I mean it did really really well and Anthony and I ran
Yeah, no,
last
and big fish on Whiskey Town. I haven't got a lot of reports from Whiskey Town yet, but we will later. But there's big fish on Whiskey Town. Yeah, so it's really really cool. Um, so Bullards, and then jumping over to Clear Lake, post spawn is going to go on. So anything, spinner baits, topwater baits, and Sinkos at Clear Lake. 5 inch Sinkos are number one baits right now.
and that's for
But let's
catfish,
jump
right?
to the rivers. Yeah, yeah, Sinkos for catfish. Come on, come on. Those are black bass. You tell them the report about catfish. You say what you're using.
Oh, well, for catfish, we tear the catfish up. We get 10, 15 catfish in that 25-pound range is what our biggest fish is this year. And we use a lot of people like to use the shad, because it's there in the lake, so they're using fish that are in the lake. So if we can get shad, we'll use it. But a close second to that I'll use is herring. Because if you use your wonderful tool out there called Google and you say, well, what fish is like shad, herring comes up as one of them, and so we'll substitute that, and the herring works really well. But at Clear Lake, those catfish, and almost like any catfish, will pretty much hit anything. We've used hot dogs, we've used spam, we've used salmon, mackerel. I mean, pretty much anything we throw at those catfish. But I find that the greasier the fish, even sardines, anchovies, but mackerel does really well. It's really greasy, and they tear that up too. And a lot of guys are using salmon. You just go to the store and you buy that $30 slab of salmon and go use it to catch catfish. I mean, come on. But no, that's kind of what's going on with the catfish, and we actually troll for catfish. And a lot of you guys don't know about that technique, but if you go check out our videos on Old Farts Fishing, you'll see a lot of catfishing where we're trolling or dragging. People call it little different things, but we're pretty much trolling real slow at like 0.3 miles an hour and about 25 feet of water, and using these long drag weights, and we get these floats made by Snag 'em and Bag 'em that makes these catfish floats, and put some bait back there, and it's a good time. It's a strong fight. We've been using your rods, Kevin, that aren't made for catfish, but I tell you what, you catch those big old catfish on your rods that we're using for striper and trolling. It's a blast. You feel every little head shake and fight, and they're definitely strong enough to handle it. So.
Well, that's great. I mean, just listening to that makes me want to go to Clear Lake, but I would not be able to get myself to buy a piece of Costco salmon to use for bait. I mean, I just can't. First of all, buying a store-bought salmon, I can't even do anyway. That ain't gonna happen. Or order one off a menu.
Right.
But we've had the premier salmon of all time, and been eating from Alaska all the way down. But hey, if it works, it works.
Yeah, it's a good time. We're actually headed out there this weekend. We have a tournament. I'm involved with the Catfish Bash, which is a 6 series catfish tournament out there, and they took it off of Clear Lake for this next tournament. So we're fishing Lake Mendocino, which we're told has some big striper in there. I think the limit there is like 10 fish, and there's no size limit because I guess they're pretty, I guess they're invasive or whatever for that lake, so they allow you to take a lot more. Now, we haven't caught one. We tried trolling your lures out there, the chartreuse, and then the blue and green one, the deep divers. We were trolling out there, seeing if we can hook into a striper. We couldn't pull it off, but I got a nice bass we caught last couple of weeks. Trolling that blue and green deep diver.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. I don't
For
know
sure.
anything about Mendocino. There's a few guys that do, obviously, but yeah, you can never go wrong. Never go wrong with a minnow. So
Yeah, so we're
yeah,
like I said earlier, with the baits, we're bringing minnows, we're bringing regular catfish stuff, but definitely some minnows, some night crawlers. I'm thinking that lake we may need to go old school and go back to an anchovy and night crawler wrap of some sort, or even a marshmallow and night crawler, and just bait and wait for these fish and see if we can pull it in.
yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Yeah,
Great idea. So I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys come up with over there.
yeah.
So let's just jump into the rivers,
Yes,
because
sir.
we can talk about the rivers for the rest of the time and then some. So let's start out, in the Delta where the Sacramento comes in. Lots of guys are still fishing the San Joaquin side. Lots of guys are fishing the Sacramento. Lots of guys are fishing up in, oh, all the way down, and the port is what I was trying to say, and getting fish, and getting a lot of fish. You guys were just out here last weekend.
Took care of that. We're good.
Gotcha. Awesome. I wasn't sure if my eyes were seeing double or I was hearing something. So about that point. So Delta's wide open. Guys are trolling, deep divers with, the wormtail. We found that the chartreuse tail has been the best with any type of chartreuse plug. Red and whites were doing good. I think you guys had some fish out there. You were going out with Rob Studdard guide service out there, and you guys whacked them.
Yeah, we were using we were out there with Rob. We were using some shallow divers that weren't really doing it for us, and we switched to your deep divers. And the video we put up last week on Old Farts Fishing, and you'll see the video using your rods and reels. I have to say that your rod and lures caught most of the fish that day, if not all of them. And the one red and white, we had that picture we threw up there. That striper just swallowed that whole lure. I mean, how big is that lure? Is it like 4 inches, 5 inches? How long is that deep?
Yeah, no, that's almost a 6-inch lure, and you got a
It
6-inch worm on the back. You got 12 inches. That thing wanted it. So
it
yeah, it's pretty
swallowed the
cool.
whole thing. I mean, we had a heck of a time getting it out of its mouth, but we put up some pictures of it. It was deep in there, and
Yeah,
he
that's
wanted
pretty
it.
cool.
Red and white was
That is
the
pretty cool.
ticket. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk about that a little bit. Let's talk about the lures and stuff because, guys will ask me, hey, where'd you get that lure? Or how'd you make that lure? And we've got all different types for specific fish that we fish for. Well, being a guide, being able to field test them all before I even put them on the market, we used them. It's not like I just went, oh, well, maybe this color will be good, or maybe, oh, let's try this and see if people buy it, see if it's a hit. No, we took out something that was good. We made sure we had the top colors, not the 24 colors. I'm not telling you got to buy every color on the SKU. No, I mean, every color that we make. SKU is retail talk, wholesale talk. But you got to have 3 of them. If it's muddy water, you got to have the chartreuse or the pink or the fire tiger. If it starts getting clear, you got to have the rainbow trout. You got to have the red and white. That's what we got. So we got 6 colors, 7 colors. I got a couple more coming in. A bone colors coming. So we use these lures. We used them. We prototyped them. The ZZ Brocks, all the salmon lures. When we start talking about this later, I prototyped them for a full year in Alaska, tweaking them, adding different things, colors, making sure they wiggled right. They didn't sink, they didn't fill up with water, they held fish. All those things we went through as a lure manufacturer. So when they see something on the wall, they're like, oh, that's the same as something else. It's really not. There's some little tweaks to it that we found over the time catch us more fish. Same way with the swim baits. Same with our swim baits. Everyone looks this way, oh, it's the same swim bait. It's not. I mix my own plastic. I infuse my plastic. We dip our own. So I'm doing something different than everybody else. So that's what makes our stuff over the years still fish. I'm not saying fish is better than everybody else's stuff. We all know that. We all know that, just because I make something doesn't mean it's the best lure out there. It's not. But at some times it might be.
Yeah.
For that specific thing. If you're trolling for stripers with deep divers, the ones I made are good. If you're fishing for salmon with plugs, the ones I made are good. If you're fishing Lake Oroville, the hoochies I made for that specific thing. I made the specific cocoa spins for Whiskey Town, for Bullard's Bar. You've been there. You've tested them out. You saw the results. They work. So I couldn't use something on my boat to catch fish for clients if it didn't work. Now today, I threw a swim bait, maybe a half hour. Anthony threw a swim bait for a half hour. He hooked one fish. I might have had one other bump it one time, but they weren't grabbing onto it. Now, if I were just saying, oh, no, you got to use my swim baits because they're the best, no, we wouldn't have got them.
Right.
So that's, there's times and places, and we'll always let people know. One of the guys asked me today, he said, when's the swim bait, bite going to really turn on? I go, give it a couple days. It hits 53 degrees. Those fish will just chase them down and mollyhawk those things. And we'll get you some video of that and some pictures of that coming up in the next couple days. I'll be fishing every day for the next 40 days. So we'll be cruising right along. So the Sacramento River down the Delta. So let's get up to Verona. Come up a little bit higher. Knights Landing, Verona, Knights Landing, and up. Guys are catching all kinds of fish on bait. Guys are catching them on minnows. I saw guys that had sardines, lots of fish on sardines below Verona. A guy had a rack of 8 of them the other day for 4 guys. Then another guy chimes in, hey, I haven't caught a fish on a sardine. Let's talk about sardines a little bit. It is really key to have good sardines and fresh sardines. The stripers like a fresh sardine better. Do we have that clip? You might post that clip of me doing that sardine.
Yes, I had
Not
a.
now.
I'll doctor it up and
Not
get it
now,
out
but
there, but yeah.
yeah, but later we have that. So what we did, you guys, is we on the boat, we did a quick, this is how I do it. I fillet the sardine, I put a little magic sauce on it to tighten up the sardine a little bit, wrap it up with some thread and toss it out there. So we did that for you, and that's going to come out. Yeah, come out here coming up.
Hang on.
So hang on. Did we say hang on? Am I hanging on?
No, you're good.
I'm gonna hang on to a big old. I'm gonna hang on to a big old fish. Is what I'm gonna do. It's tomorrow morning. Fish on. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
I mean, but Kevin,
It's fishing season.
you talk about that I call kind of like a sardine wrap because when you started to because we do the same thing that you do, but it's not the same. I watched. It was literally almost like a surgeon. I was watching you with that knife, and you cut that, and you filleted that sardine out, and then you took these scissors out, and then you cut this thing, and you made the most sexiest, perfectly shaped little rectangle piece of sardine, and then you put a slit in it. I mean, it was like you do for the almost the same way you do your salmon wraps on your flatfish when you're doing salmon. It was pretty much the same way. The care that you took there just to put it on a hook, and there's a reason why. And I see when you did it, why you did it. And now I'll be doing that as well instead of just making it all messy and throwing it on. Turning it inside out and, wrapping it a little bit looser and, having that hook the way you had it go in between the little slit that you had in that video we're going to post out. We'll show all that. But definitely, it wasn't just throwing. There was some art to it. That's for sure.
I've had a little practice.
Yeah.
But over the years, fishing sardines fish really good. I mean, there are times when you can really tear them up on sardines good, and sometimes it's the only bait you have if you can't get minnows or whatever, especially, again, Verona, Knights Landing, all those areas down there and coming up. So wrapping it on there like I did, again, I've had a lot of practice, but it's just when one eats it, you stick him, and then you're able to keep that fresh bait going. But what I was saying about the fresh bait is, man, I'm changing mine out every like 10 minutes. People are like, oh, you're crazy, da da da. Well, there's been times where I just wrapped a news piece on it, sat there for 10 minutes, I threw it out, bounce, whack, one ate it. So a sardine is not a visual. Remember, a sardine is a smell. A meat side out sardine doesn't mimic anything that's natural in the water. You don't have like, little half sardines crawling around on the ground that they eat, but it's all about the smell. So if you got the meat side out, but when they eat it, if that hook's available to get in them and not wrap too tight, you'll land more of your fish that way. So it's a pretty cool way to do it on sardines. But working your way up, all the way up from Verona, there was guys fishing minnows too. Now, if you hang a right and go up the feather and go all the way up, I mean, all the way to the 99 bridge, from the 99 bridge, all the way up to Star Bend, from Star Bend to Boyd's Pump to Shanghai Bend, there's fish all over, and guys are getting fish trolling. They're killing them trolling down there. They're getting fish on minnows. They're getting fish on swim baits. The feather is fishing better than the sack for the whole area, from the bottom by the Verona all the way up. It's been more consistent. Seems like the sack now is more consistent, Calusa up. But that's the feather. So if you hang a left and go up the sack, obviously go up into Knight's Landing and, keep going up there. But as you work your way up, you're going to hit Tisdale, which is not open right yet. We've heard that the Tisdale boat ramp will be open, but I don't know. It's all rumor. I'll keep everybody posted on that when I find out. But that lower end, it's got nobody on it. So what you've got is you got a few guys from Grimes, the next marina up there that's got their boats there. They got that lower river all themselves. So, if you want to take a cruise one day, cruise down there, especially in a couple, 3 or 4 days when the water drops, that'd be a good move. There'll be a lot of fish down there. So as you work your way up, boom, where we put in Ward's boat landing, we're just up above at Calusa Landing, and then the state park's right above us. Everybody out there, majority of everybody out there was fishing minnows. And when I got back to camp, everybody I talked to at all the guys had limited out. 6, 10, 8 fish. Everybody got fish on minnows. And the guys on the bank, I saw catching fish on sardines and anchovies. A few guys got some on pile worms, but it seemed like that was the clearer it gets, that'll be over. So then we move on up, you keep going up, what's next? You jump up in here up into Butte City. And the guys going out of Butte City have this upper section all themselves. I mean, it's great. And there's lots of guys from Chico fishing there and lots of guys from, up above Red Bluff and stuff, all going out of Butte City. Butte City's fishing fantastic. Same thing. Minnows, trolling, swim baits. It's clear water up here. Really anything you throw right now for stripers up from Butte City up, you'll get fish. But a quick tip is as the water warms up, because it was 49 degrees this morning when we started, it'll be 50 tomorrow, 52. It'll probably hit in the afternoon. Find that gravel bar, find that corner where they're at, in that 6 to 8 foot of water. Find that first. Try that for a little while. If that doesn't do it, as the sun gets up, then move over to some back eddies, some pools. That's exactly what we did. We were in 8 foot of water, caught 3 or 4 fish, had a couple more tugs, had one good one. Thought, it's just not happening. It's just not. I mean, they're biting light, they're grabbing it, letting go. So we moved up to some deeper water, 16, 18 foot water, some back eddies. Both spots we hit, had fish in them. Got some nice fish out of them. And so there you go. So that's a cool one to jump up once the sun gets up. Jump in those little deeper pockets. So those fish are staying there. And then you go up to, Ord Bend. And if I was going to Ord Bend, I'd throw swim baits or, glide baits. Because you got a chance of still getting a monster, huge fish at Ord Bend. But your swim bait will cover everything. Just keep with that because the water will start warming up, especially tomorrow and the next day, coming up for this weekend. The sack is just, there's just so many fish, so many stripers up right now. It's just pretty exciting. Pretty exciting. Oh, man, I'll tell you what, let's talk about on when you're fishing minnows. I like the extra large. Some guys use the large, but you can use a fairly small hook. You can use a size 2, and be fine with that. Just use a soft enough rod where when you set the hook and you got him on, you just fight him easy. Fight him easy. They do all their fighting when they're close to the boat. The fish we caught today were all tired. They'd been traveling a long ways. So we got them up, and yeah, they fought good. Some of the 5-6 pounders we got fought good. But, just take it easy. I run a 12-pound leader. You run 10, 12, 14-pound leader. All that's fine. But a number 2, if you go to jumbo, maybe fish a number 1 hook on there. And then use just enough weight to get down to the bottom. If you're on the anchor, you want to be away from the boat a little bit for boat noise. So 1, 2, 3 ounces of weight. If you're hover fishing or using your electric and just kind of pickpocketing, just going from each spot there. Oh, Odie's in the background there.
Yeah,
The old dogs and the dogs in the back. There, you want a little little photo bomb? All right, I like it. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna get involved somehow."
yes.
So drop them down, and that's anywhere between 2 and 3 ounces. It's plenty. Well, it gets you down those spots. Those fish will grab it, and just like you did, you stuck some. Anthony stuck some. Michael stuck fish. I hooked fish. We all hooked fish. Just kind of lift it, tap it on the bottom, and just keep that minnow swimming, and they'll grab it and go from there. It's just a super fun way to fish. I'm looking forward to the crew I got tomorrow. Grandpa's bringing a couple generations of kids along, and so that'll be a fun one.
That's
So
always
knock on
fun.
wood, we'll get them. Yeah, those are always super cool.
Yeah,
Super cool.
I like when we take, kids out. I had this one kid that him and his dad would fish with us on the Striper Derby, the Calusa one coming up. And the last 2 years, I had them on the boat and shot some video with them and did a few fun things, a few projects. They were trying to make their own little swim baits. Here's these little kids
Oh,
that were like
oh,
7
cool.
and 11 trying to start a little tackle business. And we supported them for a minute when they were making their plastics. And I think they still play with
Sure.
it, but I think they liked fishing more than they actually liked making stuff. And Cole was,
Well, you and me both, man. I started making all these plastics, and I mean, it takes away from your fishing time.
yeah.
So,
But
yeah,
but I love
that
getting
is for
kids on the
sure.
boat. Kids are they're fun. They're a fun time.
Yeah,
But
yeah, you and me both, buddy. You and me both. It's good for everybody.
yeah,
It's a good way to give back. Yeah, for sure. Well, so yeah, all that talk about fishing makes me want to go fishing.
yes, yes, yes. So we had a great day today. We're getting pretty close to the top of the hour. I know you look tired. I know I'm tired. All for a good
I'm
reason.
trying to, I'm trying to, I'm trying to look perky, but I'm not. I'm exhausted.
You're exhausted.
So,
Yeah. So we won't let this go. There's a handful of people on. I don't know if anybody online has any questions they wanted to ask. This would probably be a good time to kind of do our little question and answer period. Most people that are on are muted, but if you do have something you want to talk about, just hit that unmute button and ask your question, and Kevin can answer it. If you just want to sit there quietly, that's cool too. But
yeah, little Q and A, and we'll hang out
we
and do this. Oh, let's do let's promote that the striper derby, with the NorCal Guides and Sportsmen's Association. They got, a barbecue and food and raffles, and it's a good thing, and it does support, the fisheries, and they are trying to help our fisheries. So that's a good way to go.
Yep, we'll be out there, Anthony.
That's
We'll be fishing. Yeah, that's Saturday, Sunday. This coming weekend. Not this weekend. The following weekend.
yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
12th and 13th on that one. 12th and 13th. And you
yeah.
can sign up for that, and some guys win some cash prizes and catch a fish, and you don't have to catch the biggest fish. You just got to be lucky
Yes. Yes.
because they
It's the
have a
right fish.
blind draw. And that morning they'll be like, "Okay, the winning fish will be 23 and an eighth inches long, from the nose to the tip of the tail." And so they'll measure it. And when you got that, you hit that exact one, then you're in the money.
Yeah. And I think
It's a good time.
and I think theirs is up to that I don't think it's a plus or minus. I think if they have a 27 and 7/8, it's got to be the closest to it. If you go over, it doesn't count, is what I believe.
Correct. Correct. Yeah, yeah, yeah. If you go over, you're no
Yeah.
good.
And that's a sore subject for me because what was it last year, the year before, we were fishing a Rio Vista tournament and I lost winning like $10,000 by 9/16. I was
Ouch.
9/16 too big.
Ouch.
And I thought it was the
Man,
closest to the slot, not, I thought it was plus or minus. And I'm like, oh shit, I'm just barely over. We're there, right? And nope.
where you got it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like,
Oh man.
that one hurt. That one hurt for a
The
while.
fine print got you.
Yes.
That's a bummer.
So now I always ask, is it plus or minus? Is it, what is it specifically? But it's going to be a great time. Cole, the kid that we took out, last 2 years, took second place in the kid division. the year before last, which still pretty new to the fishing thing and the tournament thing. So I was pretty excited that I take this kid out that loves to go fishing, comes in second place and won some money and some prizes and stuff. So that was pretty cool. Yeah,
That's super cool, is what that is.
yeah,
Anytime you get kids out fishing, so it's just all a good thing. This striper fishing is a good time to take kids out. They bite good and they fight good, and at any level, a kid can have a good time. So you don't have to be an expert to catch a striper. That's for sure.
well,
So
doesn't look like anybody has any questions, Kevin. We covered a lot of great stuff. Talked about our day today. Talked about the fishing report that you got going on. We can't forget about the tackle box in Chico. That
no,
you're
that's a
helping
good
those guys
good
out.
place to go. Yeah, thank you. We got minnows over there, all the minnows, we got all the sardines, all the baits, all the lures I talked about. Yeah, they stocked my stuff over there amazingly. So they do have it and open 5 to 5, and so that's a good thing.
Yeah,
And then, but there's lots of tackle stores that support us. Kittle supports the Derby. Johnson supports the Derby. Everyone around all the tackle shops support, the local fishery. This is pretty awesome.
yeah, it's a great thing. So a lot going on, and you can get your products online at fishkevinbrock.com as well. Most of you guys probably saw this podcast on his Facebook page and know to call in. So we definitely appreciate the guys that called in, and for you guys that have done this before, knows that probably by tomorrow this whole podcast will be edited, kind of dolled up a little bit, and put onto YouTube, and then reshared back onto Facebook as well. So people that missed it and weren't able to dial in can still get all the great information that Kevin provides. And we try to do that pretty quickly because it's no point of me filming this today and then get the video out in 3 weeks. So it's got to be, quick like a bunny. So I will get it out either tonight or first thing tomorrow morning. It'll come out as a video.
Yeah, get some sleep tonight, and then we go from there. Yeah,
Yeah.
we all need some rest tonight for sure.
And
But
then
no, we appreciate you, and this
I got the
doesn't happen
video.
without you. So
Yeah, the video from today will come out probably late tomorrow. And again, that'll be on YouTube under Old Farts Fishing. And then there'll be some pictures I'll post up either probably tonight. Some of the pictures we took will be on your Facebook page as well, just showing people how well we did, and a little bit of bragging. It doesn't hurt to show your fish. So, but always a good time. Always a good time.
yeah, great time, and thank you. And yeah, we just love what Old Farts is doing. The Old Farts fishing page is just so awesome and so cool. Everybody comes around and sees your hat and sees your shirt, and or just like you were in a restaurant the other day, and this lady wanted to see it, and then she had a little story behind it, and so here's Tony, I'll brag for you. Here's Tony, he's just like, you know what? You need it more than I do. And so he takes it off and gives it to her, and that's what giving back is about. And that's whether you believe in God, whether you believe in karma, the universe, what that the circle of goodness will continue to come back around, and you don't do it to get something back. You do it because it was the right thing to do. Right there at that point, it was just like, yeah, this means more to her than it does me. Go ahead. Yeah, here you go. So hats off to you on that. That's pretty cool. And that's what Old Farts Fishing is about. It's about giving back. You're giving time, and we're just making it all work together. And so and fishing's involved. We all love fishing, so let's just do it.
Let's just do it. So. All
Yeah.
right. Well, next week, again, it'll be fishing with Kevin Brock at it's Real Talk with Kevin Brock at 7 o'clock. We just came up with that today on the boat. It was kind of a
Yeah.
low
Probably not.
fight.
Probably not 707.
But yeah, we'll get this
So
dialed in. We'll get it dialed
yeah,
in. Um,
that's on me.
Anything you want to
So
specifically talk about tomorrow that we can tell people we're going to talk about? Is it a technique, something you want to highlight other than just the fishing report?
no, I think just keep watching, because we're going to keep it all coming. And what I mean by that is we did a video on, how to rig a sardine. We did a video on filleting fish, and we're just going to keep going, on different things, fighting fish, bleeding fish, unhooking them, netting fish. We've got all kinds of stuff. So just go along. And the main thing is if you see something or there's a lake that you're at or you're fishing somewhere, ask a question about it. I got guys asking me all the time, hey, where are you at? What's going on? So we're here for information to help you out. It all goes around.
Yes, it does. And if you have information you want to share, bring it here. And when we do the question and answer and the dialogue where we make you part of the podcast, is bring those to us, and maybe we'll learn something from you as well. All right, so everybody learn something.
Oh, for sure. For sure. I learned that at 8 o'clock on Thursday, it's time to go to bed.
Yes, it is. It's about 8 o'clock. So with that, we're going to wrap this up, Kevin. I appreciate your time. We had a great time today, and all you guys that are supporting everything we're doing, appreciate you too. And watch us next week.
Yep. Check out everything on Old Smart Fishing. Check everything out on fishkevinbrock.com. You can buy product online. I don't want to sound like a commercial, or just call me or just text me and I'll give you information for free. So it just all goes around, but we just want to make sure it's available to you.
Perfect. All right, everybody. Thank you, and good night.
Awesome.